Hey guys, how are you? It is Sean C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to IFYL. It is September 9th and it's Friday. We've got just a little bit of time left before September 10th. If you are joining me for the first time, well, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Really appreciate you stopping by to check out some of this cool content to improve your life and everyone else you care so much about. You'll notice there's a QR code that appeared at the top right of the screen. Just take your phone, point to that QR code with your phone app, that is, and it'll bounce you over to my link tree. If you have any problems getting to my link tree, well, just go to Believe, Believe, me, Meachieve.com. And that'll get you over to my link tree with lots of great information to improve the quality of your life. John's Daily National Day Video, JCM Academy, John C. Morley Serial Entrepreneur YouTube channel, Inspirations for Your Life, JCM Academy Coaching, and Vision Networking, and so many other things. So you're definitely going to want to check that out. You know how we do this. Today is the last day of the week, so we're ending off with our episode number 7. And tomorrow we'll start with episode number 1 with a brand new master topic. If you're coming back, welcome back, my friends, colleagues, and wonderful associates. Really do appreciate you coming to watch the channel. And hopefully some of the new people will become loyal, just like all of you, and tell their friends about the great content that I have. Very happy. We're now close to almost 20,000 views on my Facebook reels that I'm uploading. So thank you so much for that. And now we're just trying to get the YouTube channels to grow a little more. But you know I'm very persistent at this, and I'm producing really great content for you guys. So again, really want to thank you for being here. Let's get right into the master topic, shall we? How to know when you're being used. And we're on series episode number 7. All right. So we've had a real long week of doing this. And I have to tell you that it might seem crazy, but it's not. Because you see, when somebody is used, it causes all kinds of challenges in their life. And these challenges, well, they actually cause you to be brought down, depressed, right? Things like that. So we talked about a lot of things that you should do if you feel you're being used, and how do you prevent being used? So remember, being used is a state of mind, and it affects your mind and your body. And so when you're used, a lot of people say, "Oh, of course, I'm not using you. We're friends." Yeah, this is the old come on that, trying to placate you. And I think others believe that if they're nice to you and that if they're trying to somewhat help you, quote unquote, that they're not using you. Wrong. There are so many kinds of people out there that are nice, but they still use you. So again, let's talk about what using is. Using means that I'm doing something for the benefit of myself, and I don't really care what happens to you. So in other words, you need something from me. I need something from you, but you don't want to help me until I help you. However, what you wind up doing is actually not helping me because you're too busy, and you just keep making all kinds of excuses. And I'm probably never going to help you again because that was kind of rude and really bad. Now, when you are used, you feel like you were thrown to the curb, right? You feel maybe worthless, you feel depressed, you feel sad, you feel like there's no hope for you, right? Think for a moment, what do you feel like when you use another person? You probably feel great because you're getting what you want, and you're not having to put much out. But have you ever thought how the other person feels when you use them? Let's flip the shoe for a moment and put that on your foot. And let's pretend that somebody's using you. You don't feel very good, do you? You almost have this negative emotion like you want to retaliate, but don't do that. The best thing to do when someone uses you is to politely leave the situation. to politely let them know you're busy, to let them know that you can't help them right now. You don't have to give them an explanation. You don't have to apologize. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I told them that I would get back to them later in the day or the next morning. I was busy, so I got back to them the next morning. I said, "Sorry, I didn't get back to you. I was, tied up. I had some things I was working on." John, there's no need to apologize. You don't have to account for the fact that you didn't get back to me till later. That's perfectly fine. And so when you are used, it creates a feeling in your mind that causes you to make life seem worse than what it is. To make life seem worse than what it is. What's that about? Well, it happens because here you are and you're doing something, right? Like, let's take the moving example. You're helping your friend move. Now, next time you're moving and you're doing all the stuff and you're asking them to help you. Well, I am helping you. And they move like 2 or 3 boxes. And then it's time for lunch, and then they might move one other box, and oh, look at the time. I got to get going, or I got practice, or I have to be at whatever it is. And you don't really come out and say, "Hey, that you really didn't help me." You don't do that. You're like, "Oh, okay, well, thanks. Oh, you're welcome." But you never ask that person for help again. And if they come around asking you for help, well, you're suddenly busy. So to understand what being used means is to also take a big appreciation for a respect and a love for yourself. So you have to love, respect, and like yourself before other people are going to like and love you. And so if you don't do that, what's going to happen is you're going to bring yourself down and everyone else that you're around. Now, I remember, I think it was, I'm going to say it was probably a few weeks ago. And I remember talking to this person. It was actually on the phone. And when I talked to them, they asked me, what dates were good for something. And I definitely told them. And then I didn't hear back from them. So what do you do in that situation? Do you chase them? No, you don't chase them. You see, if somebody is too busy to get back to you, well, then I'm too busy to check on them. Now, we're not doing it because we're being mean or nasty. It's just doing what makes sense to us because we don't want to put extra energy out there that's going to get deflected or that's going to basically not be used into a constructive, creative manner. When you're used, it really brings you down. I remember being on a call and a lady said to me, "Oh, well, gee, you're not really in front of a professional background and you don't have a jacket and tie on." And I said to her, "I can appreciate that. And I purposely do this from my car because I'm not trying to impress anybody. I don't need to." And she came back to me and says, "Well, I can understand that school of thought, but I much prefer the school that says that you should look your best. So why do I need to impress you? Why?" And it was at that moment that I knew this person was not going to be helpful to me. And that's okay. I didn't lose sleep over it. I didn't get upset about it and cry about it. I just said it is what it is, and I'm going to move on. You see, I think what happens in life is a lot of people attach themselves to another person, right? They become emotionally attached, physically attached in some regards, depending on the relationship, platonic, non-platonic. And when somebody becomes dependent on that person, I didn't say independent, I said dependent on that person, it's almost like they can't breathe or take a step without checking with that person first. It's not good to be in a relationship that's dependent. I think one of the biggest reasons that people get used is because they don't learn their own value and their worth and what it means to be independent. So when I become friends with somebody, one of the biggest factors of mine is being friends with somebody who can be independent and have a life and do things without me. Because somebody who's dependent, even though that's nice sometimes, it could put stress on the relationship. And so, of course, you want to do things with your friend, but if every time they call you and let you say you can't do something now, and now that's going to like cause a problem with them. And I'm not saying this because I'm trying to be mean. I'm trying to tell you that you need to take time for yourself. If you don't take time for yourself, if you don't realize that having your own personal time and just always being out there for everyone can bring you down, then you don't understand what using is. Using is not just somebody that's using you for your skills. It's somebody that's using and wasting your time. You might find this in volunteer organizations. People are busy. People don't want to include you because they're way, way off the screen here, up here. And you're down here, but they're way up here. Or should I say proverbially, they're really lower than where you are because they're trying to impress you. And you're not really taking the bait, and they keep trying harder and harder and harder. And then you know what happens? They fall out of the picture because they realize that what they were trying to be to you was some false thing or being. They weren't being their genuine, authentic self, which we've talked about in other videos, right? So when you understand and recognize the signs of being used, like somebody is asking you for money right away, somebody's expecting you to take care of them immediately, somebody's expecting you to just put aside your thoughts and just go with theirs, that's being used. Somebody that just presumes that, well, you're just going to do what I want because we're friends. No. You see, I know a lot of people that tune into my videos and they hear a tip and they're like, oh, this is great. Then when I tell them the truth about if somebody's acting like this, they tune out. You know why they tune out? Either they're embarrassed or they don't want to admit that that's how they're living their life. So it's that ego, it's that sense that they have that makes them feel inferior. Now, I'm not making them feel inferior, but they're feeling inferior because they're like, oh, I'm actually doing that. And then they back away because they're like, oh, I just want to sweep this under the rug. And so this whole week was dedicated to helping you understand what using is, why it's bad, and when you use someone, they become a victim. Now, maybe you become a victim in your life and someone's used you. And you know what? You're going to wind up using other people. You see, people that get used learn that behavior and they think it's okay to be used, so they'll use others until they get someone that says, wait a minute, I'm not putting up with this. And then they're like, well, all my other friends do. Yeah, well, it's rude. I'm not dealing with it. So I hope this week lit some extra light bulbs in your head and made you realize that you have a choice to be used or to not be used. And you also have the choice to use and not use others. Why don't we get to know others and why don't we work on a two-way street? Because when you don't use others, you feel so good about yourself, you feel so good about others, and you don't have to tiptoe around. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It has been an amazing privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you again this evening, Friday, September 9th, 2022. You know I'll be back tomorrow. That is Saturday with a brand new master topic. You're going to have to wait until then. But in the meantime, do show me some love by liking, supporting, and loving my channel. Of course, commenting below. Did you learn something? about using a victim and how people that are using you are probably stuck in that pattern. And if they're stuck in that pattern, it might take somebody to gently nudge them out. They don't even know they're doing it. And that's the worst kind because they don't intentionally want to use you, but they fell into this pattern and they just think it's okay to do this. And they've done it their whole life. Of course, I would love you to comment below about that. Tag your friends, colleagues, and associates. Go ahead, share this out with everyone you know on social media. And then go to my YouTube channel, John Space E Space Morley Space Serial Entrepreneur, and look for that key phrase, help keep our content free. Make the choice, ladies and gentlemen, to buy my team and I a savory slice of watermelon, a nice icy cold pop, or perhaps a delicious vanilla and chocolate soft cone. Either way, we'll be grateful with those pennies and dollars that you invest into us. We'll put that to new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, and even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping, empowering content that will give you the opportunity to change your life and become better if you really want to. I hope that you have a great rest of your night. I'll be back tomorrow, and be sure to maybe watch these videos again because there's a lot of useful information in here, and it's a lot to expect that you're going to get all of this in just one viewing. So watch this and many of my other videos, because I can promise you this, friends. If you make a commitment to yourself to become better, the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to become better. Now, it's not going to happen all overnight. It's going to happen gradually. You are where you are right now because of the thoughts you had yesterday. You'll be where you're going to be in the future because of the thoughts you're having today. Let's make the choice to start improving your life and everyone else in it. And remember, no one has the right to make you feel inferior about yourself. And don't do it to others. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, everyone.